All right, now we're doing on the phone.
Yo, let's
It died.
Yeah, let's wait a little bit.
Let's wait a bit.
This
Let's
is
see. I'll try and
let's
set
let's
up.
move this, guys.
Yeah, let's see what we can do.
Oh
God,
good gracious.
this is fun. Glad it's the final episode where all this happens. Okay, and then.
Maybe just hold it. You can hold it.
My hands are shaky. Oh wait, how about
What's up, guys?
There we go, and then.
Hey.
Alright,
So, all right, we're back, guys. What happened, Chris?
My webcam died.
Q&A.
With
Question.
97.
Question. Looking for an answer. What happened?
You see, the webcam died, and
All right. So
it died. Next question. Moving on. By the way, if you want to submit your questions, submit it to the
you're gonna want to
Instagram.
go on the
Panic
Instagram,
Web Series
Panic
is what
Web
it's called.
Series on the Instagram.
So go there.
You're gonna want to slide
Send your
into our
question.
DMs and
Slide
send
into
it.
our DMs.
All right,
we are always open.
So Panic Web Series on Instagram. We've already
DMs.
answered. There's not going to be a Spartan Super Soldier. There's not going to be any more Nerf vids.
Unless the series gets picked up.
There's not going to be a season 2 unless the series gets picked up because
Correct.
we already have full-time jobs and
Yep.
all of that. All right, so. How was it writing?
Oh yeah.
The finale of this episode.
Boom, gotcha. So the whole idea of Sam talking to a therapist the whole time was very early on.
Yeah, from the beginning when I made episode 1,
Mm-hmm.
it was either he's talking to a therapist or writing in a journal.
Yeah.
And then when Chris came on and we were like talking about it, by episode 4, we kind of had the idea.
It was like around 3 or 4.
It was like, yo, you got to talk to a therapist.
Because I remember, because when I wrote episode 2, I was writing the voiceover in present tense.
Yeah.
And I felt something was off, and then you told me it's got to be past tense. And I was like, that's it. Because episode 1, it was all past tense. And I was like, it's past tense. And then with episode 3 especially, I was like, why is it past tense? And I feel like I had the idea of it being a therapist just on my own. It was just
and then we both were like, it should be a therapist, and we were both like, oh yeah, we have that idea.
So then it was like, all right, from now on, it's all past tense, and the final episode he'll be talking to a therapist. So that was.
And I think when Chris started writing the episode, he started writing it chronologically, sort of. Remember that? Where like it was episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we kind of like talked about it and like met about it, and it was like, yo, what if you went instead of chronologically by the themes of everything? So it's not chronologically, now it's like, yo, it goes from episode 1 and we're talking about peeing and that's a theme, and then it goes to 4 and then it goes to the party because we're kind of talking about like all that, and then it goes back to 2 because the party we're talking about peer pressure and like alcohol and stuff.
Episode 10 was pretty wild, like writing it, because number 1, we didn't want it to just be a recap episode. It was definitely going to be more than that, and we knew we wanted to use flashbacks because for this it was necessary. Like all along, he has been telling not only us, the audience, but the therapist. And it all comes back together here because it's more than just remembering the past. It's looking at it from a different perspective, which is essentially therapy in a lot of ways. And so that was essential. And then another thing that we kind of were struggling with was the original idea was it's just one long session with the therapist.
Yeah, it's just one session throughout.
And then I ended up going to therapy myself in real life, and I realized that is nowhere near what therapy is actually like. You don't get all of that solved in your first therapy session.
So it's like, let's break it up and let's add some creative transitions.
That too. So we're like, it's going to be 2 people talking in a room for almost 27 minutes.
So this gives us a chance to like, let's change out the time of day, the costumes,
let's have his hand heal throughout the episode. Cute little thing. There's a couple comments that pointed it out. It was funny. So the person who pointed it out, he said it right as then the hand was fully healed and grabbed the Rubik's Cube. I was like, man. Or woman.
Another...
I just see a comment. Bruh, Chris Keaton, it was amazing. Thank you.
Yo, no, thank you, bruh.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh, dad.
Yeah, so... let's do a quick shout out to the crew.
The crew that are unfortunately
not here. Who's been there from the beginning. We're all quarantined.
Except
Spencer Laberni is all the way in Northern Cali.
He's chilling.
So I feel like this light is really bright next to us. I don't know. You're gonna have to do
I'm the pale one, so it's a good thing I'm closest to the light.
So who has been our crew? Joseph Monty
He
has been our sound
since
guy
episode 6.
Since episode 6.
Episode 6, yeah.
He's been our sound guy.
Yeah, so time-wise, that's like 2 years.
Jackson,
who has been shooting. He was on our crew in episode 5.
Jackson has been a beautiful person. Jackson has worked with us on separate projects, like my short film or our commercial or stuff like that. He's always been there, and he was our cinematographer. For
half of episode 6, we had 2 different cinematographers.
Because we had to split up the days.
Yeah. And then he became our full-time cinematographer for episode 7 and onward.
Because it looks so good.
Yeah.
And then Spencer,
my man. He's been just the crew.
He's been everything. He's been the grip, the emotional support,
the assistant
the guy
cinematographer,
that we bully all the time,
the
BTS, the cleaner, the
guy we have that in the credits. Yeah. Spencer, grip, assistant cinematographer, guy we bully all the time.
The cleaner, just the helper. He's been the helper from episode 6 on since he moved out here. Spencer. And then we got, Alex Gilbert.
He was our cinematographer.
He shot episode 5, The Party, part 1 and part 2. Raymond, he shot part of 6.
And 3. He shot all of 3.
Oh, yeah, he did shoot all of 3, yeah.
And, of course, the best cinematographer we ever had. Keaton Applebaum for episodes 1 and 2, and half of 4.
And
actually, technically, the entire Happy Place scene in the finale, you shot that.
Alright, guys, I don't think you guys realize, episode 1 and 2, the whole cast and crew was literally Chris in front of the camera and me behind the camera with a crappy DSLR and a little Rode mic attached to it. No lights, nothing like that.
Episode 2, I'm just in my underwear the whole time. It's just
that's why it has so many views.
Yeah.
Let me look at more questions. Go to the Panic Instagram. Go talk about that.
Go talk about what? Panic Instagram? Yo, submit your questions to the Panic Instagram at Panic Web Series on Instagram. It's the Instagram for Panic Web Series called Panic Web Series. I heard a scream outside. But yeah, so
was the therapist Lily's mom?
No.
No.
Not everything needs to be connected. What do you think this is? Star Wars? Everyone's a Skywalker now? No.
Chris, are you aware of the channel Chris Ranks? He sounds just like you.
It's because he is me.
It is him.
It's me, yeah.
Alright, who is your favorite character? Both of us, let's go. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Daniel. Done.
Oh.
Yeah. Nice. I actually really like the character of Jimmy. I think he's a really cool, conflicting character because he's like such a cool, chill homie.
But then he's kind of like a bad guy.
He's kind of, and then he like goes bad.
Yeah. Daniel started. Daniel is played by Benjamin Shea at Urban Blues. He
is a rapper.
I mean, he's a musician, but
he's an artist.
Urban Blues on Spotify and all of that, which actually I've played guitar on 2 or 3 of his songs.
And one of his songs was used as his ringtone in the beginning of episode 9.
True, yes. So Urban Blues has been a dear friend of ours in college. He's just a goofy guy. And we just had him in episode 2 for some reason. And then he just kind of grew into like, let's build him into a bigger character. In episode 5, he had like a meatier role. And then he just kind of grew from there, and now he's like Sam's best friend.
Yeah. Daniel's a fun character to write because like the series
it's all improv with Daniel.
I mean, like half of his lines are funny because of just the way that he says them. And honestly, every time I write a line for him, I kind of imagine him saying it sort of like this, and he always ends up saying it kind of how I imagine it. It's always perfect.
And then this guy didn't know my name on Instagram, but I'll forgive that. Did we consult a therapist for this episode?
So we didn't like show a therapist the script.
No. We've both been to therapy in our lives, though. Me younger, you recently, and you should go to therapy. It's an important thing to do. And it's like we kind of both with our own experiences,
and we have friends who have been to therapy as well.
Yeah, and our parents and all that. And it's like with our experiences, we were able to be like, this wouldn't happen in one session. Like they would say this.
Yeah, this is sort of how a therapist acts like. This is what they're trying to do. All that.
What are we making next? Who knows?
What are we making next? Something.
It's just a
at
mystery.
work.
We would either, we would be making work stuff. Should we say the YouTube channel?
Maybe not.
Okay, we won't.
Yeah, let's save that.
We're either making stuff at work or we would do our own separate short films.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of us are.
I want a break.
We want a break, but we're done with web series because the problem with web series is
becomes a whole
you
thing.
start and it becomes a whole thing, and you're like married to it now.
And whatever you start it as, it's gonna grow into something way bigger.
And it grows into this big thing, and it's
and then you get the nonstop questions. When's the next episode? When's the next episode?
Yeah, and it's like, oh gosh, we have to we have to cast it, write it, budget it, shoot it, edit it, do all that ourselves, and it's like I just want to do a short film that's its own thing. Done.
Nice.
More questions.
Nice and simple.
Oh god. All right, so why did we choose that ending, Chris? Instead of Lily getting back together with Sam, why
Well, number one, that is not realistic. Also, just all the comments assuming that Lily was going to be the therapist makes zero sense whatsoever. That's the thing. Like with Panic, we knew it was going to be a bittersweet ending. In fact, my favorite kinds of endings are bittersweet endings because you don't get happy endings in real life.
No, it's like
and
you're not going to get with Lily after you
after all that goes
that
down.
happened
It's like,
with the parents and all of that. You guys aren't going to get back together.
Yeah. And the whole point of the series as a whole was Sam believes he can't grow. He can't change because of his anxiety, which is what anxiety does to you. It makes you feel like you are not good enough. You can never accomplish things. It's always going to hold you back. And so that's the thing where the happy ending isn't Sam and Lily get back together. Sam doesn't need Lily, just like Lily doesn't need Sam.
Yeah.
Like Sam needs to realize things on his own and grow as a person himself.
And anxiety's not going to just magically disappear.
Never going to go away.
He just has to learn to like live with it. And also, like, if we got picked up, we have we have 6
so
seasons
much
planned.
So much
it's like
planned.
we have the whole thing planned.
Because honestly, like in reality, we really just scraped the surface of anxiety with this series. I feel like episodes 1 through 4 barely touch anything really. And then 5 and 6 are getting more. And then 7 and 8 and 9 are more depression related. And then 10 is actually the one where we actually explore anxiety pretty like deeply, but there's still so much to go.
2 questions.
Yeah.
1, how long were the shooting days? Film days are 12 hours, which is terrible.
But we didn't shoot for 12 hours.
No.
Really. We shot for like 8 hours usually.
It was like 8 hours usually, 8 or 9 hours.
This
but
episode
you can go up to
was
12 hours.
3 days. Yeah, because we did 2 days in the apartment with the therapist, and then the happy place scene was shot on a separate day.
And fun fact, we shot the happy... We had this ending planned so far in advance. We shot the happy place scene of the ending episode 4 so long ago.
Yeah.
And it was so bad...
the quality was bad. My acting was bad.
It was just all
bad.
bad, and the whole story kind of changed. So we refilmed it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. The original ending was Sam's really sad and just kind of accepts he'll never get Lily back, sort of thing. And it was like, no, that's not what this is at all. Like Sam needs to learn that he doesn't need Lily.
How much have we profited from this series? Negative something.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was just thinking pure monetization on YouTube, but including the hundreds of dollars we've spent each episode.
The most monetized episode has been like $20 or something like that.
Not even that.
And then we spend, which is rare, the highest budget for an episode was episode 5.
It was like 500
which
total.
was 500, so we split it.
This episode is probably like $300, $350,
$400, something like that. So
episode 1 was nothing.
Yeah, so we've profited negative amount of money.
Yeah.
Did Chris ever do his giggles during the shoot?
My giggles?
I guess did we ever laugh? No. It's a sad shoot.
Panic is honestly like the most fun set you could possibly be on.
As the director, do not allow laughter. If you laugh, if you smile, you get out.
This is happening. Why must you hurt me in this way? Is it back? All right, it must be back. Anyway, so with it being a chill, fun set, and we're laughing all the time, whenever I had to get emotional, it was difficult because we'd just be having a good time.
Jax wants us to call him.
Okay.
And then Spencer asked who our favorite grip is. Spencer, you know who it is. My God, are we back? Jesus. Okay, so we're doing this at Kakox's house, where apparently everything is broken,
including me.
So I'm gonna call Jackson, our cinematographer, and we'll see what he talks about. He better answer. If he doesn't,
he's.
Hello.
What up, Jax?
There he is. What's up, Jax?
What up, guys?
You sound sad. Why do you sound sad?
Oh no, I'm just a little. I'm using my indoor voice. Sorry.
He's forlorn.
Of course, he's calm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jax, how's it going? What was your process being the cinematographer
for half of Panic?
Panic web series.
For half of it, or for just this episode, or for the ones that I shot?
Just as a whole,
yeah.
But especially episode 10.
As a whole, well, I think. I mean, I guess it's not that deep, really. It's for me as a cinematographer. It's just my role to carry out what you guys have envisioned for the show. So while the first few episodes, good attempt, Keaton, but maybe not the best.
Jax, what are you talking about with my cinematography, huh?
But I'm just I'm taking the ideas that are there, the specific, zooms, camera whips, and taking the feeling of the original episodes, and then just giving it some polish in terms of the lighting and being creative with that. So yeah, I'm just having fun with y'all and carrying out just. It for me now, being so long on it, it's turned into autopilot.
That's true. True.
Yeah.
Because it's become sort of we're so used to it now that you can just do it in your sleep.
Right.
Do you want to talk us through kind of your equipment setup and what equipment you use and kind of what we use in the episodes to make it look the way it does?
Right. So the main beast is my camera, which is the Terra 4K from a company called Kinefinity, based in China. Create cinema cameras that are fairly affordable, so I got my own, and I've been using that to. We use that, and sometimes we would be using the Blackmagic Ursa Mini.
True. So we use, if anyone, I don't know if you guys can hear him or not, but we use the Kinefinity for Jackson's shoots. The Blackmagic Ursa Mini, which Spencer has so graciously for the other ones. Jackson, before you go, what's your website?
My website, if you want to find.
He was so quick. He's like, my website.
My website.
Go ahead, Jax.
Hey, I'm in it.
You're in there.
No, I got you.
I took that.
Go ahead.
It's Jackson.film. My name's spelled JAXON.film.
So
pretty simple.
Jackson.film.
Jackson.film. If you need a cinematographer, or cinematography
if you need cinematography from a cinematographer,
go ahead. All right, Jax, we're gonna go. But thanks for hopping on.
Right.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
All right, have a lovely day.
We'll talk to you later.
Stay safe. Wear a mask.
Stay frosty.
You too, guys. Bye.
Don't want to stay frosty. That's how it gets you. Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right. Let me see if there's any other questions.
Let me just think more stuff about episodes. But yeah, so back to the whole emotional thing. So yeah, with the sets always being super fun and just we're all laughing constantly. It was a challenge for me to get emotional. And episode 10 was the first time I was able to successfully on camera. And,
yeah, because he's always is either not quite able to. That's a really long time to cry.
It's just because everyone's watching me, having a great time, and it's I need to cry, and no one wants to cry in front of their friends. It's just weird.
And this episode, it was like watching a deer, and you didn't want to spook it. It was
I was careful.
Yeah,
I was serious.
You were sitting there, and everyone was quiet, and it was and you're and it was and Spencer's over there.
Yeah.
Don't distract.
Yeah, because previous episodes, you're like, yo, when we do a scene where I get emotional, you need to give me time. We need to not be laughing a lot.
Because we're all homies and stuff, we're all laughing and all that, so it's like everyone needs to be quiet, and then we gave you like 10 minutes because we were ahead of schedule to be like, you can get to that place.
Mm-hmm. And I got to that place. And,
he got to that place.
It paid off because that was pretty much the climax of the series was Sam finally letting go, really addressing his true struggles. What's bothering him.
So if we got picked up, who would the main character be?
Sam?
It would be the character. Same thing.
Yeah, it would be, I mean, we would start from the beginning, obviously, and we would totally revise the series and, like, especially just do with everything.
Is there a blooper reel that's coming?
We'll
see what's happening.
we have bloopers.
That's at me. Is there any bloopers y'all would
Wow,
release?
I thought you were just name dropping because you're the one who wants to make a blooper video. We have bloopers.
It's like we have bloopers. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a couple more before we go. Ooh, what's your guys' favorite episode of the series
10.
so far?
10. Hands down 10.
Besides 10.
Probably 9. I mean,
I would 9 or 7. I really like 7.
7 is really good. I always liked the entirety of 5 as a whole, if they were like pieced together as one.
Yeah.
3's always had a special place in my heart.
Cute. And even 1's really cute.
Yeah. I think like 2 and 4 and
what's our least favorite episode?
4.
I hate 4.
Man. But yeah, episode 10 hands down was our favorite. Just like even once I finished this and like we're going through it, it's like, yo, this is like a journey. Like this is built towards. And what's really cool about the finale is in a way you could understand the series if you just watched the finale because it pieces everything together. And it now when you watch the series again, it's gonna be completely different. You're gonna notice all these things that word for word are said in the finale, and like certain lines like Lily, best thing that ever happened to me was the best thing that happened to me. It's like, that hits hard because he knows in the future that didn't work out, and that's what's really cool about the finale to me. It's looking at the entire series in a different light and see like the growth is official. It's complete now. We start a nice quirky comedy and it's fully become this deeper drama with comedic characteristics, but overall it's like
2 more questions to end it with. What's sort of the budget? Where does the money go to when we make where does the money go to? We don't rent out the equipment really because Jax has, so we kind of pay him and he comes and he brings the camera, so we kind of pay him for camera and his work. And then we pay the crew, we pay the cast, we don't pay Chris and we don't pay me.
I pay for other people.
And then Spencer, the homie, is usually able to check out equipment from college for us to use. So we get free equipment from that. And then locations, we're able to either use our locations or get locations for free. Because if you look at episodes 1 and 2 were my apartment.
Correct.
And then episode 3 was our college. Yeah. And we staged the cafeteria to look like a fancy restaurant. I think we did a pretty good job. Episode 4 was our college. And my dad plays the teacher. And episode 5
was your dad's house.
Was my dad's house. Episode 6 was your apartment.
Before this one.
Your old, so his previous apartment would be the phrasing.
I was doing current because I was in it.
My mom, okay.
I was in the past.
My mom plays the mom.
Yes.
Abusive, just like real life. JK.
Episode 7 was
my apartment.
And also we used like a cafe area.
Yeah, we used a burrito place that was closed on Sundays, so we shot there without anyone.
Episode 8 was your apartment.
My apartment.
Which minute you were moving in like
I was moving because I got the job of the full-time job that we have, and I was in Orange County, and it was like a couple weeks before, so we had to really like push it. And then
episode 9
was a things. It was our college. It was our my stepdad's office was the job interview place. Pictured. What else?
My
apartment still.
Well, no, your new apartment was used.
Yeah.
Oh, the last scene in episode 9 we moved, but by the time we were shooting everything else, this was like 5 months later, and he had already fallen. And then we used my previous apartment in that one as well. We used a little park. The scene with mom. We used the park.
We kind of went around.
And then
episode
this
10,
episode,
we used a family friend of my mom's condo.
Place outside.
Yeah, at my mom. That's the beach area. So
cliffside area.
And we got a couple questions. Why the beach? Because the beach is just a happy place.
It's just a happy scene, guys. Happy place.
And then final question: was it hard to direct this episode because it was 2 people?
I mean, that was the challenge. Like, we both were really trying to figure out, like, how do we make sure this isn't boring?
We've never listed really before.
Not really.
Like, not really. We kind of sat down and we detailed the shots for the episode because it was like, yo, we gotta make sure it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then we kind of we planned like, yo, let's angle it here, let's do the profile shots, let's figure out the transitions. A lot
of the episodes we would improvise. This one we did.
This one is really, like, we improvise it because it's gonna be boring.
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing, was like making sure that it wasn't boring, but also making sure we're not relying too much on flashbacks.
And great actress for the therapist. I saw a couple comments about that. Glenda Morgan Brown, the homie. She killed it.
That was really important. Like, way before episode 10, like, we kept talking about, we need a really good actress as the therapist.
I made a short film, family friends of, like, she's like a family friend, and I used her in a short film of mine, like, a year ago. And it wasn't, because it was a comedy, so it wasn't like a very deep
huge. There's like 15 characters.
So you were kind of worried, like,
she didn't get to do a whole lot.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
And I was like, quite see the therapy.
And I was like, no. Skyped her and did like a Skype rehearsal.
Like,
she was perfect. She's exactly what we wanted. Beautiful. Also, my man Zach plays Little Sam. We had him for a scene in this episode. And it's a deleted scene.
And we apologize for having to cut
Carrie and David.
We are very sorry that we had to cut the scene.
It made the episode too long and everything, but we cut it. It's a deleted scene that we're kind of planning to release eventually. But yeah, he killed it.
The big thing about the therapist, which is a crazy fact, like statistic, pretty sure the therapist has the third biggest screen time of any character in the series,
because it's just such a long episode. Because even if you look at Daniel, he's just kind of sprinkled in a lot of different episodes.
And Lily naturally has a lot, but I feel like it wouldn't be that far behind.
The therapist is pretty much screen time 30 minutes almost. Yeah,
that was really big. But yeah, with this final episode, the big thing was like really making sure that we get it right, that we tell it right,
really rewrite it, make it realistic.
Because I had never been to therapy before this episode. Like, something that a lot of people are afraid of, whether it's just a simple thing of like, oh, I feel weak that I have to ask for help or whatever, or it's just the awkward thing of spilling your feelings out to this stranger. But therapy really is something that can help everyone, even if you're
healthy and you like no problems, it would still
the world would
in for a checkup.
Exactly. The world would be a better place if every now and then you sit back and you
go to therapy.
You communicate how you feel.
So yeah, it was a big thing of like, we want to emotionally impactful too, because also our main thing is like, we've done emotional scenes in the past with episode 4, the ending toilet, episode 5 in the car, stuff like that.
And they've been difficult.
Yeah, and we always feel like we don't get them perfectly right, where it's like,
it's like riding that line between melodramatic and just comedic. It's like, you gotta get right in the middle.
I hope we get this right. Like, we have to get this right. And it's interesting because episode 1, again, started a stupid film of mine where you just acted in it, and just a throwaway line was you felt what and all of that. It was just a throwaway line in the episode 1 that we did not plan for anything to happen.
And the ending, I think that was one thing that I added to the script, was that he was saying it out loud. It really says, you felt what? That was a little comedic punch at the very end.
And it was like just such a throwaway thing that was so to it and didn't have anything, and it just evolves into the whole plot point and like a really emotional thing that I think sells really well for episode 10.
Yeah, it's all about closure, because the thing, like, I expected major closure. They're gonna get back together. Yeah. It's gonna be this big thing. It's like,
that was another thing of, we had a long conversation about
what should he feel?
What should he feel? Because it's like, does he feel happiness?
Does
he all that? And it was
peaceful,
like,
man.
Yo, what about closure? Because that's like the end of his story and all of that. So that's kind of what we settled on.
And that's the really pain thing about real life, is most people don't get closure with major things that happen to them. Sometimes things just happen. That's it, and you never get a chance to revisit it, and it's gone. And that can gut you, where you just feel like, I wish I changed. Yeah, wish I could have done all of this. And that's the thing that takes hold of Sam. And that's the thing about the series as a whole. Like, the series is different than a normal story. Like, in a way, we reach a climax in episode 6. The whole series is different after that. And everyone kept expecting Lily's got to come back, all that. It's like, Lily sort of does, but it's in the background. It's more than just Lily.
Yeah, and the thing is, Panic was never a relationship show. Yeah. It was a show about a guy with anxiety, and he just happened, because we're following his life, to have a relationship in the middle of it. But just because it ends doesn't mean it doesn't have to get back together, because it's not a relationship show.
Yeah. In order for someone to really start changing, sometimes you just need someone else that you care about to, give you a kick in the butt and say, hey, you need to make these changes. You can become a better person. And then once you get reliant on that and suddenly they're gone, it's like, I need them. I can't change anymore. I want to make me change and so that's that. But closure is the thing that most people lack, and that's the painful thing about the series of Panic, is we try to be as close to real life as possible. So in the end, Sam never actually talked to Lily. I mean, we can assume he does in the future.
Yeah, and I saw a couple comments about that. The happy place scene is still in his head at the end.
It is definitely fantasy. All like, I was everything to you. It's like, she wouldn't say that in real life. But there is no closure, really. It's the closure that you make. And for Sam, finally being able to move on from her. Maybe he still can't say it to her face, but
the therapy, when the therapist says, I want to do an exercise with you, it was supposed to cut to the Zach.
You could give your younger self advice, what would it be? Which is a classic.
So he was supposed to talk to his younger kid self, and we had a little Sam, and we just had to cut it because it didn't feel right and all that. So
there was also a little hallway scene with Daniel at the end that was going to be there too.
So like, if you had let's do an experiment, and it cuts to the happy place, and it's like, oh, that works a lot better. But that's it. We're done. No more Spartan Super Soldier. No more Nerf video. No more that gets picked up.
Deep Sheep already finished. That's done.
No more Minecraft videos. No more Rigged, if you guys care.
So unsubscribe, because we're not making anything else anymore now. Get over it.
No, we'll make stuff.
We're gonna make stuff. It's just
not stuff you want, probably.
Yeah, and the happy thing is, despite so many things that we have made that don't have Panic does. We finished it.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful thing. That was nearly 3 years of our life.
Yeah.
We changed so much. Because you were going through, we had the raw footage of all of the episodes. God. Keaton was going through the raw footage of episode 1, and apparently you sound way different.
I didn't have a beard. That was the difference.
I looked completely different.
You changed me. Yeah. I did not have a beard, and just like smaller stuff. But
that started this.
The beard's the main thing, and then Chris. Attitude.
Yeah.
Alright. We're gonna thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for watching, Panic. Thank you so much for joining us on this big journey.
Thanks to the audience for watching all this time. To the crew, who we already shouted out, and I comment that said Urban's music is fire.
Check it out.
Fire. Thanks to the crew, Spencer, Jax, Joe, Alex, Raymond, right?
Travis did sound in episode 5.
Yeah. Me for being a great cinematographer for the first 2 episodes. Lynn, and then
4.
Thanks, Olivia, Dan, Urban. My mom, my dad,
Robert
Craighead, Zach
Willis.
Oh god.
I mean, we had Lauren Francesca in episode 6.
Yeah, Brenna Black in episode
7.
Danny Roy.
James 5.
Oh yeah. All right. If we're forgetting anyone, thank you. That's
and Glenda Morgan.
Glenda
Sam and Grafia for being
Sam and Graf
and
job interview person. Alahisa for being the part-time job. Jessica.
That was her name. Come on.
Oh, I thought you meant like an actor.
Dang it.
God. Jessica. I think that's it.
Ashna Sharon, she was
the friend
Sarah?
about the shoes.
That was her name. Sarah?
Yeah, she was the friend that didn't like the shoes.
DJ Salad for being in like 3 different episodes.
Joshua Bright, because Joshua Bright played the DJ, Lyft driver, and a classmate in episode 4.
Yep.
And then William Royce,
being
because
the mugger.
he was the mugger in episode 7 and also a party goer in episode 5. So we got a lot of different things going on right there.
We remember everyone.
We're trying.
And I want to thank Keaton Applebaum for being.
I want to thank the Cock 97 for getting his millions of fans to log on and subscribe to the Panic web series.
And I want to thank K-Dog Axel for having the idea of the series, bringing me on board, allowing me to become a part of it. We shared it together.
Yes,
it was our
did.
baby. We went into this world. Now it's grown up.
Now it's all grown up.
Hopefully it'll get a job.
It's graduated, and now we need to get a job.
Now we need to get a job.
Staying in our basement right now.
Yeah, not paying rent.
So it's gotta do some work. We've spent more money on it than it has earned for us.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah.
Well, we did it. We did it. And it's done.
Got it.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Bye. It's time for steak and margarita time.
It's steak and margarita time, which we're allowed to because we were over 21.
We're over 21. It's quarantine.
We were both under 21 when we began the series.
True.
L'chaim.
Shabbat shalom.
Son of a... How do I end this?
I'm just gonna...